Hi there, and welcome to the Carpe Diem Conversation Show, where we have real conversations with real-life people who share their real-life stories about getting more out of life by integrating work and life as one. Today's session, which is at a different time because today is take two. We had some technical difficulties last night, so it ended up with some crackly audio. So we decided to do take two today at 3 o'clock so we can actually listen to our guest. It was much too good a story not to share, so we decided we'd do take two so everyone can hear this story. Thank you to anyone that has rejoined at this one-off time, and thank you very much to anyone that's rejoined again from last night. Really appreciate your support. Today's guest is Emma Rhoades from Culture Shift. Emma, I will introduce Emma. This week's guest is Emma owns Culture Shift, where she helps small and medium businesses create engaged and motivated teams through leadership training and personalised coaching programs. She's joining us from way up north, and without further ado, let's bring Emma on. Hey Emma, how you going?
Hey Andy, I'm well, thank you. Again, great to see you again.
Yes, here we are at take two. And for the people that are joining us, can I remind you that this is a conversation, and we absolutely encourage you to join this conversation by adding in comments with your questions. So Facebook Live does have a significant lag. So if you have questions throughout the show, please add them while we're talking, and we'll get to them after the show. Okay, or at the end of the show, not after the show. So here we go again, Emma. First of all, where are you joining us from? I said up north, but you can enhance, you can add to that.
So today I am set up in the beautiful Success Hubs space, which is located in SAWTELL, just a little bit south of Coffs Harbour. That's my hometown. And this Fantastic. Is the beautiful area we have in here. We share with a few of us in business here, which is great.
And this is actually the second interview that I've done with the guests coming from there. The other one, of course, was Scotty Schindler, who actually created Success Hubs up there. And I'm really excited because next month, because it's still the 31st of October, next month I'm actually coming up there to present the Carpe Diem conversation as a presentation and a conversation live. So that'll be a whole heap of fun. Okay, let's get on with your story. Let's, how about run us through, tell us about Emma Rhoades and your story.
So I suppose the whole reason why I'm here talking to you, Andy, and why we both share the same passion, I guess, is my life changed dramatically when my father passed away, and he was only 54 years old. And he had worked all his life. He had created a business and he'd set it up for his retirement. Him and my mum were going to go traveling. They were going to do some more socializing and really live the rest, the next chapter of their lives. And unfortunately, he didn't quite make that. 52, he had just retired. 53, he was diagnosed with cancer, and then 54, he passed away. So for me, it, like I said, my whole life just shifted, and everything became about living for now. So there was, no more waiting. Let's do everything now, which I actually ended up going to the other extreme on that and having to have everything now and was constantly chasing the next thing. So along the way, over the last 10 years, I've learned to bring myself back down to the middle and really understand, that life is supposed to be lived every day. This is all we've got. And so let's make the most of it, and let's stop putting off what we are going to do later and start working out how we can actually do it now. So when I came back, so I moved back home, we had all of our family. I was living in Brisbane at the time. Both my husband and my family were here in Coffs Harbour. And so we had all of our, we thought we'd bring the kids back. They can grow up around their cousins and their aunts and uncles and grandparents. And we would work out the rest later, because we were never going to get those days back again. So we did that, and then I had started my photography business when I moved back. Now, I had studied photography back in school, and that was when it was in a dark room. So I relearned all of the digital stuff and then set that up. And, you know, I started that business as just as a hobby to make a bit of extra money on the side. And then I really started to understand what a great vehicle business is, and how it can actually allow you to live the life that you want if you follow a few simple systems and processes along the way. So I developed that, and then I ended up having that business running without me. We were a team of 4 doing wedding and portrait photography up and down the Mid-North Coast. And then I ended up going to work in a business advisory role for the New South Wales State Government. They had a program that had come out, and I realised I loved helping other people with their business as well. So I stepped into that role. So I had both of them going at the same time, which is, working full-time and having that business running as well without me. So I kind of figured that was the ultimate goal, because it gave me the freedom to be able to then make the choice. Was I going to go work? Was I going to go and have that holiday? You know, I could do whatever. I wasn't tied to that business anymore. So that was really awesome. And so fast forward, I've had a few different corporate management roles in between then and now. And my new business now is Culture Shift, and that's designed to help our managers create better workplaces. Basically, we spend so much of our time in the workplace, and I think we can do it better.
Fantastic. So stepping back in your story there, your father passing away early, that prompted you to rethink life to start with. Was it at that point that you decided rethinking life involved creating a business to give you some freedom? Is that what your decision was, rather than being employed? Was that?
Yeah, no, I had, when we moved back to Coffs Harbour, there wasn't a lot of jobs around. I had 2 young kids, and I knew that I wanted to be around them a little bit. So I had to find another way to earn a bit of money as well. And I picked up the photography. I really enjoyed it. I was good at it. So I figured I'd give that a go. Had no intention, didn't even know, what business could do for me back then. It was really just some money to come in, to pay some bills every week. And that was it. And it, it wasn't until I started really looking into business and trying to be better at the marketing, or how could I be better at my customer service, or how could I get more, leads coming through the door, then I really started to understand the freedom that a business could give you.
Yeah. See, and that's interesting. A lot of people go into business just like you did with your photography business, but they have a completely different mindset. It seems that your mindset going into the business was to set it up so it could operate without you being there all the time, which is really, I can tell you from the people I work with that come to me, it's a really unique, you're quite unique in doing that, because most people do it the other way around. They get the business going and then they work out, oh, hang on a minute, now I have to be here all the time. But it seems from what you're saying that you set out to make that business function without you from the very start. Is that fair to say? Is that what you did?
Probably not from the very start, but when I decided to get serious about it, yes, it was very intentional then. But because when I started it, it was still in my own name. So, my name was Emma Rhoades Photography. And then I realized, okay, there's lots of stuff that needs to change here, so the whole process of removing me from the business and having it running without me was my ultimate goal. When I became aware that could actually happen, I was, that's my decision. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going for. Up until that point, it really was just a bit of a hobby.
Yeah. So I will ask you about the how-to and what you put in place, but why did you want to what was the motivation for you setting up the business? So, like I said, it's quite unique for people to think that quite early. What was the motivation for you to set that business up so you didn't have to be there all the time?
For me, it was about understanding the wealth strategy of having multiple streams of income. And you can't have that if you are always doing the do. And I realized that whilst I enjoyed photography, I really enjoyed business as well. And what was I going to do? What was my exit strategy out of here? Was, I didn't want to be stuck to it. I wanted to have that freedom to be able to go off and have a holiday for 3 months if I wanted to, and the business would still be there when I got back. Was the whole kind of purpose behind it.
Yeah, so it really did tick the box of living life every day instead of being trapped basically in your business. So it gave you the opportunity to actually live exactly how you wanted to, and that is, to live life. So it gave you that opportunity.
Yep, sure did.
So what were the practical things you had to put in place to start with? What were the first things you did to set that business up when you said, okay, I've got to get this business so it works without me? What did you practically do?
So I knew I needed to bring other people into the business. I wanted to take a step away from the actual doing of the photography. So that was the first thing. And I went through I've made lots of mistakes, hired a few wrong people until I worked out that I really needed a system in place here, and I needed to know what I was looking for. I needed to be very clear on the type of people that were going to come into my business, and then started going through that process from there. And so once I got them in, then we looked at, obviously training and how that worked. In photography, it's really interesting because it's so subjective. You can line up 10 different photographers in front of the one object and you'll get 10 different photos. So as a brand I was putting out there, I had to be careful of the work. It had to be consistent. It couldn't be all over the place. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges I had, is trying to be able to embed that into these photographers that were coming in, but still being able to capture use their own creative ability. And so that's when I started videoing how to edit a family shoot. And I would put my headset on and I would talk through it. And I did that over and over and over. And then, all of the rest of the systems and the processes and everything came in after that as well.
And that's a really interesting point. And we'll just say hello. We've got a couple of people on the show at the moment. Hi, Jenny. How you going? Jenny's saying hi to Emma and Andy.
Hi, Jenny.
And we've got my sister Karen. Hi, Karen. How you going?
Hi,
She's
Karen.
joining us from Bali. So here we go. We've got a global show happening here at the moment. So what you've just mentioned there as far as a practical step, and it's one of the things that many of the business owners that come to me, they say, I can't do systems. I don't have time to go through all that documenting the processes. But there's a lot easier way, and it's one of the strategies that we use in the Work From Anywhere program, and that is to just video yourself doing things, whether it's on a computer or whether it's externally doing something outside. And that becomes part of your system. And it's really easy to express how to do something or demonstrate how to do something in video. And you don't have to spend days and days typing all those step-by-steps out.
No, that's right. Well, I had to do that anyway. So I still had to edit those family photos.
Yeah.
So I just figured I would just put the screen capture on and the headset on and talk through it. And they were not professional in any means at all, but it allowed me to upload that into our online cloud-based system. And then all of my photographers were able to, when I bought them on, so I ended up hiring for their fit. So how they were, their values as a person as well, their ethic levels, and the rest I just trained through spending time with them and through those online videos. A lot of it, there were other processes that I had to actually document as well. But that was the quickest and easiest way for me to get that over and done with.
And that's gold right there, because not only is it easy to demonstrate using video, but once you do it once, you just keep repeating it and duplicating it. And you only have to do it once. And that's a really good share. Thanks, Emma, for that. So reminder out there, if anyone's got any questions, and we did have some questions from last night, but there's a couple of the same people there. So please ask questions, because there is a little bit of lag. So what difference has setting up a business that operates without you? What difference did that make to your life, like your actual everyday life?
Well, that allowed me to be able to move into doing something that I really wanted to do as well, which was the business advisory, which then snowballed into my next corporate roles that I had picked up, which is, allowed me to be where I am today. And I've actually had the ability to be able to help other people to see that bigger picture. And for me, the most rewarding part is to be able to ask them, well, why not? They're like, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. That's not me. That's for somebody else. Like, well, why not? Why not you? And I wait for the answers to come, and they're all excuses. And and I just take it back to life is too short to be overworked, stressed out, because you know what? You don't get those days back. That week is gone. What did you do in that week? Who did you spend time with? And so those conversations for me are just are so rewarding. And I think having gone through that process, that's what's given me out of that.
Yeah, and that's another good point you bring up there, and that is spending time with other people, whether that's your own family or your friends. And we do only get those moments once. And I think I mentioned last night, I've seen a couple of times a keynote presenter by the name of Robin Moore, who's actually the voice behind Blinky Bill, but she always get on stage and she'd click her fingers and she'd say, there goes another moment, and we only get them once. So it's really important. And whilst business owners are really stressed and working to long hours, it's also the partners that are impacted by the length of time that the business owners are working, because it impacts their family life. And that's something that come up at one of our Carpe Diem retreat this year in the French Alps. Was the big thing was getting time back to spend with the people that count.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So for business owners out there that potentially are feeling like they'd like a little bit more freedom in their business, what advice would you give them? Would you advise business owners to go down this path of systemizing their business and looking at helping make their business not dependent on any one person, not just them, any one person in that business?
Yeah, absolutely. When I learned early on that a proper business or a true business, if you look at the meaning, I guess, behind that, is really it's about it's a profitable enterprise that works without you. All you're doing otherwise is just buying yourself a job. And generally you're probably paying yourself lower than you would if you went and worked for somebody else anyway. And it really comes back down to life is too short to keep doing that. So if I suppose the people out there that are thinking, oh no, I've got a restaurant or I've got a cafe, I can't just up and go anywhere, or my business is solely about being here and being local. That's not the point. The point is that you be able to create that. So you've got the freedom to go and have that holiday, to go and spend that time with your family, to knock off work earlier because your child's got something at the school, or, that's life, because we don't get it back. So I suppose the one piece of advice is just to start, make the decision to do it. And then, there's heaps of help. Andy, we're talking right now, reach out to you and say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I don't know how to start, because it's not about the how, it's about making the decision to do it.
Yeah, that's really important, because as well as the skills involved, there is a really big mindset shift, because unfortunately us as business owners, we're very precious we've built our business. We're the only ones that know how to do certain things in our business. We're the only ones that know the answers to certain questions. So consequently, we have to be there. Now, I found through the program that once you work with businesses to put those systems in place, it actually helps that mindset shift of letting go, which is a really big thing for business owners. Obviously, you had no problems with it, but do you see that out there with your clients?
Yep, all the time. And I suppose that's just answering Karen's question up there. The most common block is that, no, nobody else can do it better than me. These are my clients. I need to do that. They need me. And I did have that in my photography business. I had people calling up and asking for me, saying, no, we don't want anybody else. We just want Emma. So, you know, that was the challenge that I had to go through. And that's probably why it took me a little bit longer for me to let go of some of those. And that was really about the relationships that I had with them, not so much about the work. I knew my other photographers were highly skilled and potentially they were better than me, better photographers. They had more of this creative ability than I had and to do that. And I suppose that's, you know, when people say that to me, I ask for those reasons, you know, why, you know, what makes you so special? Who else can bring new ideas to the team? And it starts to really shift that block. But I don't allow them to continue on telling me that it's only them. I do call time on that story.
Yeah, and it's such a common thing because we all think that we're the best person to do that particular task, job, answer that question. But hey, guess what? Once you start letting go and allowing someone else to do something who potentially does that particular job or task or whatever process, whatever it may be, a slightly different way, very often, it's actually better and more efficient and a better end result than the way we were doing it, because we're so locked into doing it that way, and it's all part of our conditioning where we open it up and let someone else have a go at it, and very often, it's a much better result. Jenny has a question. Jenny, love your message, Emma. Life is short. We need to live it every day. What are the things you love to do now that you have time each day? There you go. That's a really, really good question.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. Now that I'm creating this business now, this is very intentionally, this business will operate without me. And the idea is that for me, it was a bit of a mindset shift. After coming back out of the corporate world, I felt that I had to be working 9 to 5. And I was probably not taking for granted the fact that this business can give me flexibility. So now the things I love to do now that I have the time are to go walking on the beach. I have time for me to get up of a morning and actually spend some time setting up my day, doing a bit of journaling, doing a bit of exercise. And if I want to go out for lunch with my friends or go and have a coffee, I will do that because I now have that flexibility. And I know I'll work. The other morning I was up working at 5 a.m. There's been times where I'm still working at 10, 11 at night. But that's business, and I'm okay with that. The 9 to 5 doesn't suit me at all. And so the main things are really trying to spend time with other people and also taking time for me. I've done a lot of study over the last year, like a lot of different study. I'm a bit of a lifelong learner as well. So all of those types of things make up my day.
And that's a really big thing what you bring up there, and it's a really big thing, and that is you're making the choice. You're choosing when you work and when you spend time with you or with your family or with your friends. And we've been so conditioned over many generations that we go to work at this time, whatever this time is, and we work until this time. And if we're lucky, we have a lunch break in between. And many people actually eat their lunch at their desk or wherever. So, and it's one of the big things I discovered when I first started working from anywhere in the French Alps, because I was in a completely different time zone. And I only had a 2-hour window that I could communicate with the other side of the world, my clients and my staff. So the rest of the day I started mixing and matching, going for a bike ride, then doing some work and doing some other things. And it was a massive, massive discovery. And thank you so much for sharing that, because it's one of the big messages that I'd love to get out there. It's not just about where you work, it's about choosing when you work. Awesome.
Yeah, and it's one of my messages that I'm trying to shift inside the workplace as well, is to really, I'm questioning constantly, okay, why is it 9 to 5? Does this person really need to sit on that chair for that time? Or can they leave? How flexible are we? And a lot of them are, no, that's just the way it's always been done. So my questions are, well, what if we turn that on its head? What do you think would happen? Which is really challenging as well. So hopefully I can bring a little bit of that into some workplaces. It doesn't suit all of them, but hopefully.
Look, I'd love to help you there too. Yeah, we are so aligned in how we think. So that's fantastic. So I think we're coming to about the end of our little conversation, take 2, which has been fantastic.
Yes.
No other questions out there. We can, no other comments, but that's fine too. What I do want to chat to you about is that Success Hubs, where you are in SAWTELL. I am actually coming up there next month on the 15th of November, which is Friday the 15th. And I'm going to be presenting live the Carpe Diem conversation, not this conversation where we're interviewing someone, but it will be a presentation about the alternative to the traditional way you live life as a business owner, as well as a conversation with the group there. So anyone out there that is watching this show, either live or as a replay, please, I'll add a link in the show notes or in the comments, a link to book. It's a free entry or free ticket to get to the event, and I'm really looking forward to coming up there. And Emma, you'll be there. Might get you on the stage to share a bit more about your conversation while we're there. Scotty Schindler, who's he'll be there co-hosting the event with me. Really looking forward to it. So thank you so much, Emma, for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your story twice.
No worries. Thanks for those that tuning back in again. Appreciate that. Hope this time was a much nicer experience.
Yeah, at least we can hear each other and everyone can hear you as well. But before you go, where can people find you if they need some help?
So they can find me on find me on LinkedIn. You can just search me there, Emma Rhoades. I'm on there. Also, the website is cultureshift.com.au, and also, of course, through Facebook as well. You can find Culture Shift and me on there too.
And we'll add those links in the comments as well so people can actually find you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those people that joined again, Jenny, Karen, and whoever else is out there. And we'll see you next week, not at this time, but next week, same normal time, which is Wednesday at 7:30. All right.
Thank you.
Carpe Diem, everyone. Seize the day every single day.